Hey guys, before I show you the boost, I'm gonna talk a little about it. So if you just wanna skip to the main poll, I'll leave a timestamp in the description. So let me just compare some numbers with the regular Mara pull, the 170 mob pull. In the pull I'm about to show you, you're going to pull over 270 mobs in around 13 to 15 minutes. So that means you can do 4 runs per hour. So if you charge 15 gold per run, or if you pay 60 gold per hour for this, you're going to be getting 25k to 35k XP per run, which is better than the regular Mara run, even if you're doing 5 runs per hour in the regular run, which will give you around 85 to 105k XP per hour. On top of that, in the 270 mob pull, you also have a chance to get Elemental Earth, and you have more chance to get epic drops, such as Flurry Axe and Edge Master's Handguards. So it doesn't matter if you're buying or selling this boost, the 270 mob pull is far superior. But it is kinda hard to pull off, and I'll show you why. And by the way, you can watch this video in 2 ways. You can listen to what I'm saying, or you can play the pull in double the speed and mute it and just see how I get the pull done. Up to you. Anyway, enjoy. Before you can start the pull, you have to get to the starting point first, and I'll show you here how you get there, and I'll just speed up the video so it doesn't take up much of your time. So you start the pull by pulling the elementals and the snakes in the back right there, and you pull the snake on the left and right with your AoE spells. You can pull them however you like, it doesn't really matter. Just try not to get hit. And then you also want to make sure you're not spamming your shields too often, because conserving mana here is very, very important. Even with 7.6k mana, I still struggle sometimes, so make sure you conserve mana as much as you can. So as you just seen right there, I pulled the elementals with a Frost Nova. I'm gonna body pull this snake and the next snake with Arcane Explosion. And I'm going to refresh my Frost Barrier here because it's gonna expire in 1 second. And here you see that I am not spamming my shields on cooldown, I'm just using it only when I need it. So only use shield when your shield has been depleted or expired. Other than that, never use it. Especially mana shield, never use mana shield. So as you just see, just keep pulling the mobs as you go through. Do not worry about stacking them, we will stack them later. Just keep pulling them and try to not get hit. You can pull them the way I'm pulling them, or you can pull them differently, doesn't matter. The point is, pull everything in the way. Now here I do get silenced by the dinosaurs, so I use a grenade, but if you don't have a grenade, you can just use ice block, and that's gonna get rid of the silence. So here I blinked, and you want to make sure you blink before you're at this spot, so your blink comes up. As you see, it just came up right now, and now I'm going to pull the dinosaur on the right, and I'm going to save the blink. You'll see why later. I'm going to pull this elemental pack with a fire blast. It's going to come up right now. I pulled it. I'm going to pull this dinosaur with a counter spell, turn around and blink. Now this is why you want to save the blink. You want to blink at that spot so you can come back to safety. Here I used a Runecloth bandage, but you didn't really have to. If you want, you can. You can even use lower level healing potions, which are actually cheaper sometimes. You can find them for 5 or 4 silver. So there I pulled and slowed the packs with rank 1 Blizzard. Pull this pack with Frost Nova, and I'm going to pull this pack with a Fire Blast. Now at this point, you always want to use your blink on cooldown. Whenever you see your blink pop up, use it. After pulling this, I'm going to blink, and I'm going to run straight. Do not worry about the Hydras. You will end up pulling like 3 or 4 of them. That's okay. Just keep going straight and make sure to use your blink on cooldown. All the Hydras that are going to cross the train of mobs behind you are gonna get pulled, and it's okay. You can get rid of them later if you want. you can keep them with you if you want. So, and here I'm going to use another blink on cooldown, and now I'm going to wait for the blink to come back up. And as I wait for the blink to come back up, I'm going to use a rank 1 blizzard right here to slow the hydras a little bit, because I don't want the hydras to get too close. Now here the blink is coming up. I pull this back with a fire blast and I blink up. Now I use a mana gem here just because I'm running kind of low. I always want to have a bit of mana. And I'm going to use a Icon Explosion here, and I'm going to come to this spot of the bridge and use a rank 1 blizzard here to pull the packs at the bottom. Now I'm going to pull the pack on the right, use a Swiftness potion, and pull these 2 packs behind. If you want, you can skip these 2 packs and just go for like a 265 mob pull run. That's still fine. But Swiftness potion just costs like 80 to 90 silver in my server, so I can use it, no problem. So after you pulled those 2 packs, you just want to keep using your blink on cooldown. And here I take a loop around this rock because I want to make sure that I don't get too far away from the mobs, because that may cause some of the mobs at the end of the tail to reset. So right here, as you see, I am on 35% mana, and I have used like 5,000 mana so far. That's how mana intensive this pull is. Once you try it, you'll see for yourself. And right here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a right, and I'm going to go walk over to this path over here. Now this will prevent some mobs from getting stuck. And this will also help the mobs this will also help to stack up the mobs. As you see back there, they're like stacking up nice and clean. I'm going to slow the hydras over here with a rank 1 blizzard, because you always want to maintain some level of distance from the hydras, because even if there are melee mobs, they'll hit you from really far away. I mean, they can hit you as if they're basically ranged mobs. Here I use a blizzard, and a frost nova, and I'm going to pull the lurkers here and rank 1 Arcane Explosion here, and I'm going to blink. I'm going to pull that lurker with the fire blast if I can. Let's see if I can. Yes, I can. And freeze the slimes over here. Rank 1 frost nova that lurker, and body pull this with an Arcane Explosion. Then blink. When you blink, and your nova should come off cooldown over here, and you want to pull these 2 packs with the frost nova. Now here the imps are gonna start giving you some of your mana back. So this is the point where the pull starts getting less intense. So don't worry about pulling those shamblers. They're gonna get pulled by the other shamblers in the back. Pull this lurker here, and make sure to freeze this sludge over here. If you freeze that sludge, you have a chance of preventing some of the slimes from resetting. Now sometimes the slimes won't reset, and you'll get like 285 to 290 mobs in one pull, and if they do, you'll get like 270 to 275, so that's still okay. And here you want to evocate or use your bandage, doesn't matter which one, and use your rank 1 blizzard over here. You want to let the full blizzard duration take off for 10 seconds, and then you blink. And here you want to make your way to the room on the right as fast as you can, so you can get those 3 rank 1 frostbolts off. You can use a counter spell to pull as well. I just like using rank 1 frostbolts. So once you pull the 3 packs, pull everything else in the way, and make sure you do pull everything else, because you are not going to be coming back to this part of the room. I use a frost nova here, and I'm going to body pull the next pack. Now after I body pull this pack, I blink, so I come down here, and I use a rank 1 blizzard on this route over here, and this will cause all the mobs to stack up nice and cleanly. And after that, make sure you do not blink here, If you blink here, you will cause the Hydra to reset along with a few other mobs. Like about 10 mobs are going to reset here if you blink. But if you do want to get rid of the Hydras, you can blink there. That's still an option. So after you blink, you save the next blink and make sure you do save it for the bridge. Now, when you cross the bridge, you want to blink because the mobs can still hit you from underneath the bridge. And then you basically use rank 1 Blizzard to stack everything up. So from this point, you're just stacking up the mobs. That's all you're doing from this point. Use a Frost Nova here. As you can see, the mobs are already stacked up quite nicely. Go up the slope, pull the imps, and wait for them to catch up a little bit and blink. Now you can take this shortcut jump here, and the good thing is when you jump and when you're mid-air, the mobs stop following you for a bit. Here you can use 2 blizzards, one at the back and then one at front. So you can stack them up even nicer. And make sure you do stack them up nicely over here because this is the last chance you'll have to stack them up. You'll see why in a bit. And now you can blink here at this point. If you blink here, it doesn't matter. I do not blink here because I don't need to. You don't want to create a lot of space between this group of mobs and the group that's going to be following you from the back. So I chose not to blink there. So pull everything else that remains here, blink back up, Nova this pack, and you'll see that everything else is catching up behind you nicely. Okay, so once you get to this point, you want to Fire Blast this pack, body pull everything else, and once you're here, we're going to Nova this pack. And then we're going to blink and we're going to start stacking them up just one last time over here. Right here. 1 tick of Blizzard is all it takes. So I just use 1 tick of Blizzard to get that 4-second slow on them. And now they are pretty nicely stacked. Then I jump down and I blink as soon as possible. Now you just have to race back to your spot. And this is why you have to make sure that they're real nicely stacked, because you'll see that you will have almost no time to set up your safe spot. You have to start pulling as soon as you're at the safe spot. As you can see, the mobs are already starting to catch up. I'm going to blink and I'm going to cast my Blizzard as soon as possible because the mobs are already catching up. And by the way, I don't use a swiftness. I don't use a nature protection potion here because you don't really need it. I don't even have any nature resistance, but as you can see, it's not really an important thing to have. And then it's basically your typical Blizzard rotations. You make sure you jump on the farther side of the pole because of the Hydras. If you don't have the Hydras, you can go to the closer side of the pole. But if you do have the Hydras, and if you jump at the closer side of the pole, the Hydras will not stop following you because they have a larger hitbox and they're able to hit you even if you're at this pole over here. So now you just kill them one by one. You can LOS the imps and kill them, but I like to keep a few of them so I can have my infinite mana source. But at this point, you see that I am LOSing the imps because I don't need them anymore. And I'm going to start killing them off with the Hydras and the rest of the mobs. And as you can see here, I have killed 270. I'll end up killing like 276 mobs, and I think 4 or 5 of them were snakes or critters. I'm not sure, but it was still a 270 mob pull, and there you go. Now let me just show you the loot you can get if you're doing this solo. If you're doing this solo and you have no one in your group to boost, this is still a really good option. You can get elemental earths from this. You can get decent herbs like swift thistle, winter's bite, fire bloom, purple lotus, which are actually worth something now. So you can get about 5 gold worth of herbs, around 10 gold worth of elemental earths, and around 10 gold worth of BOEs and junks. So even if you're doing this solo, you should be making around 80 to 100 gold per hour. I do use D-Junk to delete some of my junk items that are really cheap to save backspace, but you don't have to do that. You can really just keep the junk and sell them and vendor them off. But yeah, that's basically it. That's the poll, and I hope you enjoyed. I will be streaming this poll on Twitch when this video is live, so tune in if you have any questions. If you don't, thank you for watching, and see you in the next video. Peace. And a big thank you to all the patrons who support this channel. Thank you very much, and I really appreciate it.